What's up YouTube land, Zeno Gaming here, and welcome back to my F1 2021 My Team series, here today with episode number 30 around the Marina Bay Singapore Street Circuit. And in today's one, this is going to be a tricky one. We have the Singapore Streets, and we're coming off 4 consecutive poor races in a row since our podium in Austria, which was a fantastic result. We've had a run of 4 poor results with 2 DNFs at Hungary and Italy, and then I think it was like an 18th at Belgium as well as Britain. So no points in the last 4 races. Ocon has scored some good points for the team, but myself have not had anything to shout about. So that's been a little bit frustrating. And going into this Grand Prix, so we had the DNF last time in Italy, thanks to a mechanical issue, which was down to a gearbox issue, which I didn't realise at the time, but I realised after the Grand Prix. And you can see that the gearbox is no good, meaning we're probably going to be taking a 5-place grid penalty, put in a new gearbox, which is a little bit unfortunate. And I also went back and looked to see what the wear was on the gearbox when it failed, and it was only at 28%, so it was just a bit unlucky that these things sometimes happen in Formula 1. So it is what it is. We're going to get into the weekend. We're going to jump straight into qualifying here at the Singapore Grand Prix. I love driving the straights at Singapore. Really get a thrill out of it as we come here for our first run in Q1 straight out the bat. And we're our first lap here, and we do a 1 minute 34.8. So not a bad lap, a couple tenths slower than Ocon. But now as I come down on the cool-down lap, I was preparing for another lap. I got Stroll following me here. He wouldn't pass me, as they don't like to pass you. And then he just drives straight into the back of me, damaging my diffuser. He breaks his front suspension, I guess.
You come in and we can take a look.
So he's out of the session, and he's only at 9, so he's probably going to get knocked out in Q1. So it's a disaster for him and for Aston Martin. But anyway, I come on, put a new fresh set of tyres at the end of Q1. I don't think I needed this lap. It was just a bit of insurance as we come across the line. And we do a 34.1 at the end of Q1 to make sure we do get through to Q2. So we have that 5-place grid penalty for the gearbox. That's what that is there, not any penalty from the incident with Stroll. Don't know what he was doing. Not much I can really do about it. It's not like I broke really into that corner anyway. But Giovinazzi with his 35. So our first lap would have been good enough for Q2. That was just a bit of insurance. But Giovinazzi, Raikkonen, Latifi, Stroll, Schumacher and Mazepin all out in Q1. Here is Q2, our first lap. This is on a used set of soft tyres, and you can clearly tell that you just don't have the same grip, especially when you get to Sector 3. We only do a 35.2, it's a second off the pace, so I could tell that the grip is not good on the second lap on a used tyre. So anyway, we come now, and new tyre, end of this Q2. This is our chance to get into Q3. We're currently sitting in 15th position, so obviously we need to improve from the first one, and we are improving a little bit here, but you can see we'll improve a lot coming through turn, I believe, 4, 5. And on the run down to turn now, what it will be 7. We gained 2 tenths just through the 5 and the long straight. So yeah, got a little bit more grip on the new fresher tyre. But we're hoping to obviously make up the time in the middle and third sector of the lap, when the grip should yield the most benefit. Coming into this tricky left-hander, no more the old Singapore sling, and get it through it nicely. I hate this little chicane here, it can be quite frustrating, but we'll get through it, no mistake. And then we'll come into the hairpin, got to get a good exit here, that's the important thing. And we get a decent exit compared to our fastest lap in this session, and we gain a bit of time there. So half a second up heading into the third sector, and now we've got to really nail the end to this lap. And coming through into turn, I believe 15, 16, it could be 16, 17, I forget the corner numbers by this point, but we're not really gaining the time that I'll probably expect to be gaining at this stage of the lap, and it is not looking good, if I do say so myself. It just doesn't, it's not like I'm making mistakes, it just doesn't seem fast. So coming to the final corner, absolutely throw the car in there, it sticks as an F1 car does, until 1 minute 34.7, so it's a half a second off what we did in Q1, and it means we only qualify P12 for the Singapore Grand Prix. Ocon, our teammate, is through to Q3, so the time was in there, I just wasn't able to extract it in Q1, or in Q2 for whatever reason. I was able to do the lap in Q1, not Q2. So yeah, really disappointing. Alonso gets knocked out along with myself, Vettel, Russell, Lundgaard, and Tsunoda with a 5-place grid penalty. It'll be interesting to see where we line up. So let's go to the grid. So here we go, and we know that other cars are taking penalties, so we don't know exactly where we're going to start. We've got Bottas on the front row with Charles Leclerc, so good qualifying from Leclerc with Valtteri in pole position, Sainz third, Hamilton fourth, and Norris in fifth with Perez sixth. Ocon, Vettel, and then Russell is in ninth thanks to all the penalties with Verstappen rounding at the top 10. So Alonso is 11th, Giovinazzi 12th. Myself, it's only 13th, so we didn't get hurt too badly with all these penalties. You got Stroll, Gasly, Tsunoda, a little bit down the field compared to what AlphaTauri normally do. Lundgaard, Mick Schumacher, Mazepin, and Daniel Ricciardo. His penalties have hit him hard that he will be lining up at the back of the grid. So that's the grid for today's Singapore Grand Prix. What I noticed is a really, really strong performance from Ferrari in qualifying. So their car is obviously suiting this track really well, with Leclerc second on the grid and Sainz third on the grid. But anyway, I thought our car would suit this track quite well as well with the aerodynamic we got on it, and the chassis is pretty good as well. A little bit down on power maybe compared to the rest of the field, but yeah, I thought our car would suit this track maybe more than what it does. But anyway, going into the strategy, it's a medium to medium. It's a two-stop strategy with them, 2 sets of mediums and a soft to end the Grand Prix. So yeah, it should be a good race. Took a little bit of fuel out, but enough to get us to the end of the Grand Prix. And it should be a good race. We're starting from 13th. We've only lost a 1 position from our grid penalty, which is, luckily for us, a good thing. And we're still got a good chance of scoring some good points today. So that's what we're going to do, and have a clean race and not have the issues we've had in the past 4 Grand Prix. So yeah, it's all up to us to get the job done, really, and just have a clean race, because we should be faster than some of the cars around us. We are always much stronger in the race than what we are in qualifying, and we should be able to get into the points. There are also a lot of slower cars. It's a very mixed up grid today, so a lot of slower cars out of position in front, some fast guys behind, so it's an interesting Grand Prix. We'll see how it all unfolds over the next 31 laps here. It's one of the toughest, it's the toughest Grand Prix of the year. The grueling Singapore Grand Prix is underway, and we get a reasonable start in the medium compound tyre, better than Giovinazzi, much better start than expected. Immediately moving to 12th place, and we've got the outside line here, and just keeping our noses clean. We've got Verstappen and Alonso going side by side. We're able to fly around the outside of the both of them and pick up both of them here at turn 3. That was a fantastic manoeuvre to gain a couple places, and we're now all of a sudden into the points already and settled in to 10th place. And now Verstappen's ahead of Alonso, and he's got a bit of a slipstream on us into turn 7, but he's not close enough to make the move stick. So now we are behind Sebastian Vettel and George Russell. Lewis Hamilton is sitting in 7th, so he's had a terrible start from 4th on the grid. And my teammate Ocon's had a pretty good start, sitting in 6th position. So 6th and 10th for us here on the opening lap bodes well for our Grand Prix. Apart from Max Verstappen, everybody in the top 10 is on a soft tyre. Max Verstappen was the only one who qualified inside the top 10 to start on a medium compound tyre, but he's not currently in the top 10. He's actually 11th now, so that's a bit of... He's in a fast car, Max, but he's got a lot of traffic to deal with, including myself. So this is a reasonable opening lap, and we're settling into this race quite nicely, just trying to see... not trying to take too much risk, and just trying to see what the pace of my car is, who I'm faster than, who I'm slower than, and I can already tell that I probably am faster than Vettel and Russell at this stage. You can see Russell's actually for now stayed a little bit with Hamilton, but you can see he is dropping away corner by corner, and you can clearly see that the front 7, are pulling away. So now we're going to move on to lap 4 here, and we're still sitting behind Vettel and Russell. Russell has dropped a couple of seconds, or about 3 seconds, to the cars in front, but we got Sebastian Vettel in our way, and we've got a good slipstream here, and now I'm using the energy here, the overtake button, to really gain. We go down the inside, late braking into turn 7. We just about keep it on track, not really, but we take the position away from Sebastian Vettel. Maybe I should give that back. I don't know. I took the position anyway. And I thought it was fair enough. But it was a good move, as now Lundgaard is out of the Grand Prix here. So disappointment for him and for Alpine. Another bad result for Christian Lundgaard, who has had a tough time of things lately. But anyway, moving on to lap 5, and we've got George right ahead of us. And unlike the previous lap, he doesn't have DRS like Vettel did, so this should be a little bit easier to pull off. And plus, he's 2 seconds behind the cars in front. He hasn't fallen away completely, but he hasn't quite got the pace. It's a good job he's still sitting in 8th here is Russell, but we're going to come through now. There's not a lot of space there on the inside, and he just about is enough space to squeeze a Formula 1 car through. We go down the outside on Russell and overtake him on the outside. We're still side by side heading into turn 8. We have the inside line, and we just ease him towards the barrier, and he has to get out of it. And we move into 7th position, and we quickly caught up to the cars ahead, pulling away from Russell behind, as we are now on lap 6. And Hamilton, Ocon and Perez all dive into the pit lane to get off their soft tyres, and so does Charles Leclerc, leading Bottas to lead the Grand Prix from Norris. But the very next lap we were putting in a much faster lap here, best of the race so far,
MFD for
and
a new strategy option.
a little bit of a loss of concentration, and I was probably just trying to open the corner up, and I hit the barrier and hurt the front wing. And we're going to skip to lap 12 because I didn't battle anyone. Lando and Bottas pitted that lap, and I had the clean run. I was able to get a 6 second gap to Russell, but the car did have an understeer. I was struggling with understeer because of the front wing damage. I was probably losing at least a half a second a lap, maybe more. Maybe a second off it was a second off my personal best, but as the tyres come down, you expect to lose a bit of time. So I'm going to say about a half a second a lap, maybe 6/10. It was a pretty substantial. A lot of understeer in the car. So we get a new front wing, and we don't drop a position in the pit lane. We're just able to get out ahead of Russell, who's gone to the hard compound tyre, which is an interesting strategy. But you can see there's Lewis Hamilton, so we haven't lost too much time. And I was thinking, without the front wing change, we're probably right around where Ocon is. I don't know if we're definitely ahead of Hamilton, and probably fighting on exit to be ahead of Ocon. So we haven't lost as much time as I thought we were going to lose, which is quite a good thing, as I set the fastest lap of the race on my first flying lap, and now we're caught straight up to the back of Hamilton. So we are the fastest car on the track, putting in some good times here. You can see there's quite a train behind Carlos Sainz. Carlos Sainz is on the hard compound tyre. Everybody else ahead is on the medium. You can see Ricciardo's making up good progress as well, now currently sitting in 8th. Russell also on the hard compound tyre is now 10 seconds behind us, so you can see how much time he's losing on that particular tyre, and that's a great move on Hamilton. We just had more grip through the corner and better traction, so we're going to line up the same move on Ocon. We get a much better run through turn 3, much more mid-corner speed, and he defends a little bit to the inside, so I'm going to go to the outside, open up the angle of the corner and slip underneath. Hamilton pitted on the previous lap, but we get past Ocon for 5th position, and now we're chasing Sergio Perez, who, again, we're going to try and set up a similar sort of move as Ocon now pits.
Esteban is in the pits.
Getting off their medium compound tyre to go onto another medium tyre on their 2-stop strategy. So lining up the same move on Perez here, and we've got so much more speed through turn 5, much more grip, and we're able to use the extra grip to get alongside Perez here. This is going to be a dive here into 7, but we're far enough alongside to make it up in the braking zone, and we move up into 4th place. That was our cleanest move of the 3 dives into 7 so far. So now we've got Sainz ahead of us, and he's really slow on the hard tyre. This is the same lap we've overtaken Perez, and you can really see how much slower he is on this hard tyre and how much more grip I have. So he had a poor exit out of the hairpin here, out of the Anderson Bridge, and he's defending to the inside. I go to the outside, he squeezes me up against the barrier, but I'm able to just drive clean around the outside here and get into 3rd position. So moving on to the next lap, you can see we've already pulled 2 seconds on Sainz in probably half a lap, so he is really struggling for grip on his hard compound tyres, and we've actually closed the gap a little bit to Lando ahead. Again, I think we are one of the fastest cars here this afternoon, so this race is boding really well, but that is not what we wanted. A safety car right when things were going really, really well for us. We get a safety car because we've already used 2 sets of medium compound tyres. I don't want to go to the hard tyre, seeing how slow Sainz was on it, so I'm forced to go onto the soft tyre here earlier than what we wanted, and we've just got to manage this tyre here. We're pitting from 3rd position though. Leclerc and Norris also pitting for fresh tyres, Sebastian Vettel's going through there. He's going to take the lead of the Grand Prix, staying out. So we're currently sitting in 4th. We've got a couple more cars coming. It's Russell on the hard tyre and Alonso. So, yeah, we're coming out in 6th position. We've gained a lot in this Grand Prix. We're going to come out just ahead of Stroll. We've gained a lot in this Grand Prix in terms of track position, but now we've got to fight on our hands here in these last 10 laps to get a result today. A podium is definitely on, and a win is possible here today. Bottas has got a 5-second time penalty for whatever reason. He's currently sitting in 8th place on that hard tyre, and we have quite a slow restart. I didn't really want to warm up my tyres under the safety car and degrade their soft tyres anymore, so they were quite cold at the restart here. I knew they were going to take a half a lap to just get under normal temperatures, and I wasn't trying to push the car too hard and have a spin. So we're taking it quite easy here on this first lap. And you can see though, even though I'm taking it easy, we do have a lot more pace than the cars ahead and a lot more grip on these soft tyres. So, and you'll see that right here as we break into turn 7. We've got a lot more mid-corner speed. The car just turns a lot more, and I'm going to go to the inside of turn 8 of Alonso. I'm going to outbrake him into turn 8 and make a really nice move there to get ahead into 5th position. Now we're chasing George Russell, who's on these hard tyres. He didn't pit. He's doing a one-stop strategy today. Brave from Russell. He's trying to score himself some points for Williams, but I've got a lot more speed here. I know drove very late. He's very close to contact with Russell. How we haven't crashed, I don't know. We almost spin the car. Russell fights back here, and now he's got the inside into 16, but we're able to drive around the outside with more grip and a better car and a better tyre. So we now move into 4th, and we've immediately caught the 3 cars ahead. That's why we weren't able to slip the new fastest lap of the Grand Prix, which we already held in this Grand Prix. But now Norris is ahead, and we're going to try and do the move that we did to the other cars before, but we're going to brake and simply just drive straight around the outside of him at turn 5. Unbelievable overtake on Lando Norris, and this race is really going well. At the same time, Charles Leclerc is having a go at Sebastian Vettel. Charles Leclerc down the inside on Sebastian Vettel. Former teammates here duking it out for the lead of the Grand Prix. Vettel didn't expect to be in this position today, but he is. But Leclerc is fighting back here, and into turn 9, he looks like he's taking the lead. Vettel, though, is fighting back again. Sebastian Vettel's not trying to give up a Grand Prix win today. He goes around the outside, but eventually Leclerc takes the position away from Sebastian Vettel. So, yeah, what a move by Charles Leclerc to take the lead of the Grand Prix. And I'm trying to get through Vettel as quickly as possible, because he didn't pit under the safety car, and he's got quite old tyres in it. I know Leclerc is going to scamper off pretty quickly here. I wasn't close enough to get past into that hairpin, so I had to wait here until the main straight, and I've got to get past as quickly as possible because Leclerc has already put 1.6 seconds on me as we come into turn 1, and we get past Vettel for 2nd place, and now Norris will be lining up the German, and he gets past us. We've now caught up to Leclerc. This is the end of lap 25. You can see we're setting the fastest lap of the Grand Prix here, and we're going to come across the line. We've closed up to within DRS. We do a 36.1 for the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. So we're the quickest car on track. We've probably been one of the quickest guys all day. Qualified in 12th, started 13th, and now we've got a chance with 6 laps remaining at the Grand Prix lead. We're going to have a bit of an oversteer moment out of turn 5 though, and that probably means we're not going to get past Leclerc for the lead on this time around. We're close, but we're not quite close enough, so we're going to have to wait till next time around. As you can see, I think Vettel actually pitted for whatever reason, but we're now chasing after Leclerc again on this lap. We've got the DRS here on the main straight to pull us closer into turn 1. We have a bit of a look, but we're not able to get through, and we're setting up that move again, probably into turn 7, because Leclerc's got his tyres are the same age as my tyres, so he hasn't got less grip, so we can't outdo him grip wise, but we can outdo him with raw speed, and that's what we do here as we get past easy overtake with the DRS, able to take the apex of the corner, and we take the lead of the Grand Prix with 4.5 laps remaining. So now we've just got to hold on, and I've got to get Leclerc out of my DRS range, because you can remember, as Verstappen is now out of the Grand Prix, you've got to remember these tyres are starting to fade a lot, as there is Max Verstappen out of the Grand Prix. A shame for him. He's had a terrible afternoon, and he'll probably set back by some engine penalties himself this weekend, so unfortunate for him. But you can see here the end of lap 29, we do a 38.0 in clean air, so that's 2 seconds pretty much off our personal best. So the tyres really are wearing out, and I can really feel that the grip in the corners is not quite what it was at the start of this stint. And now Leclerc is actually catching back to me because we briefly got out of the DRS. He's now back in DRS zone. You can see that's the tyre numbers on the screen, but it feels like they're in the 50s, not the 30s. The drop-off is quite massive here at Singapore. As we now head to the last lap of the Grand Prix, Leclerc is 6 tenths behind. Norris is closing up as well. And we're just going to hold on here. This is probably one of the last overtaking chances for Leclerc. He's half a second behind, so we're going to be safe here into turn 7 and hold on to the lead of the Grand Prix. We've got 12 seconds to Sainz, 22 seconds back to Sergio Perez, so quite a gap formed behind us, thanks to probably George Russell being a cork in the bottle, Fernando Alonso, Sebastian Vettel as well. But those guys all stopped again for whatever reason, weird strategies they were running today. But yeah, this is a bigger issue on our hand as Charles Leclerc behind is really closing up to us here in the middle sector, which the AI is stronger in than me. And I get a good exit out of the hairpin here, and he does not have a chance with DRS to pass me down into the hairpin here. So luckily for us, I think we're home now for what will be a second career Grand Prix win as we now come through this final chicane for the final time and into the last sector for the final time underneath the bridge here. And as we come around, oh my god, we've lost the rear end, can we save it? We hit the barrier. Leclerc can't take the opportunity, but Lando Norris senses an opportunity, he goes down the inside, Lando Norris down the inside, we're losing grip again. But Norris, we hit him, he gets the lead, Leclerc passes us as well. What has just happened? Oh no. We've bottled it on the last lap of the Grand Prix. Lando Norris wins the Singapore Grand Prix. Charles Leclerc finishes second, and we finish, well, I would have said before the race is a fantastic third, but this is just a devastating podium finish. What have we done? We've thrown away a golden opportunity to win a Grand Prix where we had one of the best cars on the day, and we just threw away 10 points and a win. So that is really demoralizing, really annoying. Couldn't believe I'd done that. Yeah, the tyres were going away from me on the last couple laps, and I was just holding on. And I obviously, yeah, just overcooked it a little bit. I mean, I looked at my throttle tracing from the previous lap. It was identical. Just, yeah, the grip was no longer there. Maybe I took too much speed into the corner, and obviously the car couldn't hack it like it could earlier in the stint. I had to probably adjust a little bit my driving style, but yeah, it's really disappointing. It's a podium finish, which I'm happy about at the end of the day, but it's good points, but it could have been so much more. It's really annoying, really disappointing. Ocon scores points as well for us, and he moves into 14th in the standings. It's really good for our battle with AlphaTauri, who we move back ahead again, and we got a decent cushion against them now, so that's really promising. But yeah, a race win that goes begging. Really unfortunate, really disappointing. And yeah, we come back, and I'll do an upgrade on the durability. I can't upgrade anything more on aero or chassis or powertrain. They're all fully upgraded until I get Spec 3 on those areas. So I'll probably do some durability upgrades when I can, but I'm not going to be showing any more upgrades because there's no more things to upgrade really this year, and honestly, we're heading into a new game, so this is the last season of the career mode. So from now, I'm probably just going to be showing races, how the season ends, who becomes world champion, if we can win a Grand Prix, which I firmly believe we can, because I've developed the car into a top 3, top 4 performing car on the grid.
Okay. We've had the new
So
parts
we
come
should
through
be
the
able to
fabrication process.
fight for wins
We'll
in
have them
these
with us
last
for
4
the
Grand
next
Prix.
Grand Prix.
Probably not on the level of Mercedes. They had a poor race around Singapore, but I believe we can fight with the Red Bulls and the Ferraris and mix it with the McLarens as well. I've pushed development into that direction, so I'll leave nothing on the line in these last few races. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please leave a like if you did enjoy it. Subscribe to the channel for more career mode content when the new game drops. Cannot wait. Just trying to get through and finish this season and this career mode. So Until then, guys, we'll see you for the next Grand Prix at the USA circuit of the Americas. Until then, we'll see you next time. Goodbye.